For 40 years, you and your partner have been building something enormous, a mountain of capital, raised one payslip and one deduction at a time. But here is the honest truth that nobody tells you at the summit. In 2026, the view from the top changes entirely depending on the size of your peak. Two couples can retire on the very same street, wave to each other over the same garden fence, and yet live in two completely different countries. Today, we are revealing the honest reality of what your days actually look like at 5 distinct pension levels, and how the single number sitting in your pot quietly draws the social map for the rest of your life. Before we climb, 1 anchor point. In 2026, the full new state pension sits at roughly £13,000 per person. For a couple who both qualify, that is a combined floor of around £26,000 before your own savings add a single penny. Everything above that floor is built by you through your workplace pension, your SIP, and your ISA. And the tool we will use to turn a pot into a living income is the 4% rule, the amount you can safely draw each year through drawdown with a fair chance of never running the well dry. Level 1. The safety net, £0 to £50,000. At the base of the mountain sits the safety net tier, a pot of anywhere from nothing to £50,000. Here, life leans almost entirely on that state pension floor. A £50,000 pot, drawn at 4%, adds just £2,000 a year, lifting a couple to around £28,000, which brushes the PLSA modest line but never truly clears it. Think of this tier as a single shelf library. Everything you need is there, within arm's reach. The shelf is stable, the roof is sound, and there is genuine dignity in it. But your book of options is very thin. You can read the same story every day, the familiar local routine, the same morning walk, the same faces, the weekly shop, and there is real comfort in that repetition. What you cannot afford is a new chapter, the spontaneous flight, the second holiday, the unplanned luxury. Those books simply are not on the shelf. Council tax and the everyday essentials take their steady cut, and what remains is functional, safe, and carefully counted to the pound. Level 2. Modest. £150,000. Now we climb to a pot of £150,000. At 4%, that pot generates roughly £6,000 a year in drawdown. Stack that on top of the combined state pension, and a couple lands at around £32,000, comfortably meeting and gently clearing the PLSA modest benchmark of £28,000 for two. This is where the first new chapter finally appears. You can afford a week in the sun each year, a real holiday, booked in advance, genuinely looked forward to. The library has grown from a single shelf into a small bookcase, but make no mistake, you are still price sensitive at the supermarket. You notice the reduced labels, you switch brands the moment the numbers climb, and you plan the big shop around the offers. The anxiety has not vanished, it has simply loosened its grip on your shoulder. You are living now, not merely surviving. But the arithmetic still leans in and whispers to you at the till. Level 3. The median gap, £300,000. At £300,000, we reach the tier that quietly traps more couples than any other, the median gap, the upper middle squeeze. 4% of this pot delivers £12,000 a year, taking a couple's income to roughly £38,000. On paper, that looks like undeniable success. And yet this is precisely where many feel a strange resentment they cannot quite name. Here is the trap. You have climbed high enough to lose the safety ropes, but not nearly high enough to charter the helicopter. The means-tested support that once cushioned the lower tiers begins to fall away, while your council tax, the success tax of the home counties, and everywhere beyond, takes its full bite, with no discount whatsoever for your effort. HMRC treats every pound of your drawdown as income. Decades of national insurance and hard-won NI-era frugality die very hard. And so your buffer, the money left standing after the essentials are paid, feels distinctly smaller than the headline number ever promised. You are not poor, far from it. But you are the couple that funds itself entirely, unaided, and feels the weight of every single pound of it. Level 4. Comfortable. £600,000. At £600,000, something in the very air begins to change. 4% of this pot is £24,000 a year. Add the combined state pension of £26,000 and the couple clears around £50,000. Then fold in tax-free, withdrawals from the ISA, along with the quiet efficiency of two people sharing one household, and you step firmly onto the PLSA comfortable benchmark of £68,000 in lifestyle terms. We call this the expanding horizon. For decades, financial anxiety sat like fog on the glass, letting you see only a few feet in front of you. At this level, that fog finally lifts. You and your partner can suddenly see 5 or even 10 years into the future with total clarity. You can say yes. Yes to a spontaneous trip to see the grandchildren 3 counties away. Yes to a private medical consultation to skip a painful waiting list. Yes to the better seat, the nicer bottle, the longer stay, all without opening the banking app first. The decisions that once demanded a full conference at the kitchen table now happen in a single heartbeat. The horizon is no longer a wall closing in. It is, at last, a view. Level 5, Freedom, £1 million plus. At the very summit sits the Freedom tier, a pot of £1 million or more. 4% alone is £40,000 a year, and layered on top of the state pension and the ISA, a couple sails well past the comfortable line into genuine, discretionary luxury. But the real truth of this tier is not about the holidays, or the cars, or the addresses. It is about what disappears. Money simply stops being part of the daily scaffolding of your life. On any random morning, or at the start of a new month, when the statements quietly arrive, you no longer feel the old flinch. You do not perform the math anymore, because the math no longer changes a single decision you would actually make. And here is the quiet, almost unsettling revelation that greets people at the top. When money is finally, completely solved, you wake up and realize that your time is the only currency you have left to spend. The scaffolding comes down, and what stands behind it is simply the life you have built and the hours in the day to finally, fully live it. And this is the great advantage running silently through every single tier, the couples factor. 2 people do not cost twice as much as 1. You split 1 council tax bill between you, not 2. You run 1 car, cover 1 household's bills, hold 1 set of standing charges. Because of this shared scaffolding, a couple's combined pots stretch roughly 20% further than the very same money split between 2 people living alone. It is the closest thing to free money that British retirement offers, and it is exactly why the honest picture must always look at the household, never the lone individual. So here is the reframe worth carrying with you. Retirement in Britain is not a finish line you cross once and then forget. It is a vessel of resilience, something you spend 40 years building, plank by careful plank, to carry the 2 of you through whatever the water chooses to do next. True wealth, it turns out, is not the height of the mountain, nor the shine on the peak. It is having a pot large enough to finally silence the arithmetic, quiet enough that you and your partner can stop counting, lift your eyes from the ledger, and, at long last, simply listen to the world. If this video helped, like and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.